We all know what a good guy Jacob Tammy is, and there's been a lot of things written about him, a lot of stories about him. But today we're going to see if we can get a little dirt on Jacob Tammy. We've got his wife, Allison Tammy, here with me, who's a charming young lady herself. And I want to just ask you a few different things about Jacob. First of all, Derek Willis got so much publicity when he proposed to his girlfriend at midcourt before senior day this year. But I kind of think he kind of stole that idea a little bit from Jacob back after that first Music City Bowl. And he didn't do it at midfield or anything, but he surprised you the next morning after the game?
The next day. We were in Nashville, and Jacob's grandparents lived there, so we stayed the night at his grandparents' house, and he proposed to me at Opryland Hotel the day after they won the Music City Bowl. So that was really fun. It was pre-iPhones and cell phones, so we asked somebody to take a picture on like a real, like a camera, an actual camera. And so we have like one photo of the event, yeah.
How much did he surprise you that morning? What kind of line did he give you to get you out, to set you up for that?
I had no idea. We were going to go to brunch at Opryland Hotel, and I thought it was weird that we were staying with his family and they weren't going with us. I thought that was really odd. I'm like, we should invite your grandparents. He was like, no, they don't want to go. So we went, and we were walking through, and he just says, why don't we sit here and look at this waterfall? So we're sitting on this little bench, and so then he just got down on one knee there.
Wow, what a guy. Now, you all have been high school sweethearts, right?
Yes, sir.
What was your first date with Jacob? Do you remember?
Our first date was at the old Danville Cinemas in the old location to see Tomb Raider. Very romantic, right? And then after that, we had dinner at Sonic. So, you know, it was a big event. But when you're 16, that's...
So y'all were sophomores then or juniors?
It was right before our junior year.
Right before junior. So did you have a little crush on him before that, or did he have a little crush on you before that, or how'd that kind of work?
It all kind of happened all of a sudden. It was during baseball season, and he was in the Super Regionals, and we had mutual friends, and I started going to the games because one of my friends dated a baseball player.
But you weren't going to see him?
No, not at first.
Okay.
Not at first.
Okay.
And so then over time we started talking, and then he asked me out on the date to see Tomb Raider.
So it was baseball that brought you all together, kind of.
It was. He was a baseball player.
Yeah.
When I met him.
Okay, I didn't know that.
I guess not when I met him, but when I started dating.
When you started dating him, okay, yeah, he's a really good baseball player.
Mm-hmm.
Which brings me to one other thing. Do you ever stop and think back that if Rich Brooks, if Guy Morris hadn't left Kentucky and Rich Brooks had came, what Jacob's life and your life might be like? Because if that hadn't happened, Guy Morris had kind of withdrawn the scholarship offer to Jacob.
Yes.
And I remember Jacob was devastated when Rich Brooks came back again. Did you ever stop and think about how one little event like that changed so much for you?
Completely. I mean, he was looking at possibly going to Northwestern or Purdue or... goodness, I mean, maybe even Louisville, who knows? But thankfully,
no,
I know, right? Thankfully, he got to stay home, and I went to Western, you know, as a hilltopper. So it was just a short 2.5-hour drive up the Bluegrass Parkway to watch all his games. So.
Do you remember the day when he got that call from Rich Brooks offering the scholarship?
I do. We were at school, and Coach Smith, Chuck Smith, pulled him out of class, and he said to Jacob, he said, Coach Brooks called, they offered you the scholarship, and I already accepted it for you. He didn't even ask Jacob. He was going to go ahead and do it, and then he pulled him out of class to let him know. So Jacob, of course, came out, and we were in the lobby for break, and he told me, and he was just over the moon excited.
Yeah. What's your best memory with Jacob at UK?
At UK, gosh. You know, the bowl games were so much fun, but all the games were fun, even the losses. Like, being in Commonwealth Stadium, so electric. I will tell you, senior day before the game was very special because some senior days at UK, the stadium's not full, and that's really just a disgrace and dishonor to those players. You know, they've worked for 4 years, but there were so many people there to honor that group of seniors, and that was really special. Of course, we lost to Tennessee that game, but so the ending wasn't so exciting. But, you know, just being at Commonwealth, it's just a special place.
Okay. Now, we all know what a great guy Jacob is, but he's bound to have some annoying habits, doesn't he? I mean, he's got to do something that gets on your nerves every now and then, doesn't he?
I will tell you, he's not exactly a proficient at picking up after himself. So we do have to, he has to be reminded on occasion.
Jacob Tammy is
I know.
messy.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
I will tell you, in college, I would go over to his apartment. He had an apartment with 5 friends, and some were football players, some not. And I would always walk into the kitchen to a sink full of dirty dishes and stuff everywhere. I always come over and instantly start cleaning up after them. I thought, no one can live like this.
So does that mean your kids can do whatever they want now because Daddy's messy?
I know, right? We have to not look to Daddy as an example for what we need to do about picking up our things.
I do know he's really enjoying having a chance this summer to spend some time at home with the kids and all like that. And I know all of us think, boy, the NFL is a glamorous life, and I'm sure it is. But I think most of us don't understand how much time away from family that involves. I mean, and that's part of it, but still, it's got to be hard.
It is. It's a lot more than I knew before we got into this life in the NFL. It's long hours. It's 12, 13 hours a day, 7 days a week from August till hopefully February.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of hours and a lot of time away. Thankfully, it's better than the NBA or MLB. They have much more rigorous travel schedules. So it's not bad, but it's good to have him home.
Last thing for you. We always hear, how rugged it is playing in college in the SEC, but then like Jacob and others have told me when you get to the NFL, it's a whole different level and all. How tough were like Mondays after Sundays games for you to watch Jacob? Because I know he had to be in pain. I mean, did you just clear the house, leave him alone on those days? Did you have to baby him those days? What were those like for you, Alice?
Jacob does not like to be babied ever. He does not.
Unless you're picking up.
Right. Unless, yes. And that's just, yes. On those days, he would rest some, but he almost always went into work the next day. Went in for rehab, for recuperation, to get into the ice tubs, to get a massage, to get those muscles going, because 2 days later they were right back at it. On Wednesday they were back on the field. So he would, some days were better than others, but he's held up pretty well.
Yeah, but the one thing he can't do, he can't outrun his wife. 5K, 10K, half marathon, he can't touch you, can he?
I don't know that he couldn't touch me, but he doesn't have the desire to do so.
So to say he can't
we'll just
touch
say he can't. He never has.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.